This is Austrian teenager Yuri Rodionov. At the time, the 8th highest ranked junior tennis player in the world. The chair umpire is checking his underwear, and here's the supervisor doing the same. Why? This is Wimbledon, the most prestigious tennis tournament in the world. In other tournaments, the tennis court is a catwalk. Players wear leopard print, lingerie-style dresses, basketball jerseys, and even outfits that look more like delivery drivers than top athletes. But not at Wimbledon. The rules here are strict. No color is allowed, and it's been this way for over 100 years. For sports companies, this is a big problem. It's one of the biggest stages on the planet, and being tied to the mythical Wimbledon can pay off big time. But how can brands navigate this minefield? And why do they wear white in the first place? The strict dress code of Wimbledon comes from its rich history. In the mid-19th century, in the wealthy London suburb of Wimbledon, the All England Club was created. It began with the sport of crochet, but was soon adapted to include lawn tennis, a new variation of traditional indoor tennis. In 1877, the very first Wimbledon Championship was held. 22 amateur men competed in front of just 200 spectators. And while the court was virtually the same, outfits worn back then looked completely foreign by today's standards. Women were expected to wear nice clothing, traditional, long, thick, and elaborate lawn dresses, the kind used for social gatherings. That's because lawn tennis grew in popularity as a way to socialize and meet romantic partners. And the club soon decided that all players should wear all white. Why? Because sweating was seen as improper, and pure white garments were able to hide sweat marks, making tennis a suitable sport for the rich upper classes. It also showed that players weren't doing any dirty manual work, since white clothes were easily stained. Then, as the sport became more serious and Wimbledon grew into the premier grass court tournament, pioneering athletes started challenging the norms. First, teenage superstar Charlotte Dodd, who wore tighter clothing, making her more agile. Then, Suzanne Lenglen, with a calf-length skirt, short sleeves, and a floppy hat. Newspapers called their clothing indecent, but they were both undeniable champions, winning Wimbledon a combined 11 times. Men's tennis clothing gradually became more sporty too. Originally, the men played in full-length pants, long-sleeve collared shirts, and sometimes even ties. The mold was broken with the help of a man named René Lacoste, who twice won Wimbledon in the 1920s. He designed a polo shirt for tennis, and as a reference to his nickname, it featured a crocodile logo. Decades later, another tennis player did the same, Britishman Fred Perry. Both Lacoste and Fred Perry are still strong brands to this day, worth billions, and have found success far away from the tennis court. They helped change the face of fashion and push tennis to become more experimental. But while the other 3 Grand Slams, the Australian Open, the French Open, and the US Open, embraced different colors, Wimbledon refused. This tradition is now the secret to its endurance. But the tournament's tight regulations have continued to be a battleground. When famous designer Ted Tingling introduced flamboyant women's dresses in the 1940s, he was banned from Wimbledon for 33 years. These kinds of challenges forced Wimbledon to finally put the white clothing rules in writing, and players have been fighting them ever since. Andre Agassi, the bad boy of tennis in the 80s and 90s, had a reputation for wearing bright, bold clothing. After being knocked out of Wimbledon in 1987, he refused to play in the tournament for 3 years. And it wasn't only the bad boys. Even Roger Federer, the Swiss maestro of the grass court and the most successful men's player in Wimbledon history, had a minor slip-up. It was his first round Wimbledon match in 2013. The rest of his outfit was the standard white, almost head to toe in white. But once he started playing, it became clear Wimbledon would have a problem. The bottom of his Nike shoes were colored bright orange. He was given a minor infringement and ordered to change them for the next round. A few years later, Yuri Rodionov's underwear was inspected by multiple officials. The Austrian was told there was a risk it could become visible when he served. Rodionov was given underwear by Wimbledon to change into. Checking underwear has been called creepy. And after legendary player Venus Williams was caught changing out of a pink bra during a match, she said it was weird and didn't want to talk about it. Even Federer has said the dress code has become ridiculously strict. In 2014, even stricter rules were introduced. Clothing had to be almost entirely white. Off-white or cream colors were banned, and all sweatbands, bandanas, shoes, and underwear had to be white. The rule crackdown was a response to clothing brands trying to find ways around them, like Nike with Federer's shoes. That conflict has been a battle going on for decades. Tennis brands usually enjoy using bright colors to help their clothes stand out. But for Wimbledon, companies like Nike, Adidas, and Fila have been forced to radically change their design approach, moving away from aesthetics. Fila says it focused on fabrics and technology for maximum performance. Asics also focuses on material selection. There are some benefits though. These brands reported their white-colored Wimbledon clothing being bought in retail stores. But some brands have taken issue with the restrictions. Nike had to change its night-tie dress in the middle of the tournament. And in 2006, Adidas sued the 4 Grand Slam tournaments for classifying its 3-stripe design as a logo, meaning it would have shrunk them down massively. However, even if the product is banned, the publicity generated can be valuable for brands. Roger Federer's orange shoe controversy revolved around the Nike Zoom Vapor 9 shoes. Nike released them on June 24, 2013, the same day Federer wore them at Wimbledon. They were designed specifically for Federer but got only an hour and a half of TV time during the first round match. However, it did earn Nike a series of headlines worldwide. And the limited edition shoes sold out almost immediately. Whether a marketing stunt or not, the rules haven't always been consistent. Pat Cash was allowed to wear a black and white bandana in 1987. Novak Djokovic wore a gray knee brace without issue, and Naomi Osaka's Nike black stripe outfit got the tick of approval too. But Wimbledon is serious. Its rules extend far beyond the dress code of players. It means turning down lucrative sponsorships. So how does it select advertisers? Wimbledon is an advertiser's dream. It's the most prestigious event of the 4 Grand Slams, which together attracted a viewership of nearly 2 billion people last year. In the UK alone, Wimbledon had over 50 million streams. It also caters to a very specific clientele, the rich. Wimbledon sells debentures, which are reserved tickets for seats over the entire tournament. These come with access to a private entrance and VIP treatment. The latest debentures sold for over $150,000, with the entire round generating over $200 million. Some wealthy families have held onto their tickets for more than a century. Wimbledon sells exclusivity. The same goes for its advertising. Wimbledon doesn't allow traditional advertising. There are no placards, signs, or boards featuring global brands like at the other Grand Slams. Despite that, Wimbledon still brings in the most amount of sponsorship revenue out of all the Grand Slams at $124.7 million. How? With fewer, carefully curated, extremely high-value sponsors. Rolex has been the official timekeeper for over 40 years. This blends seamlessly with the image of Wimbledon as the pinnacle of luxury, excellence, and timeless beauty. That partnership alone is worth $14 million a year. And Wimbledon's relationship with British company Slazenger, the official ball supplier, goes back even further. In fact, it is the longest sponsorship in history. Not just tennis, but any sport. With such a strong image to maintain, Wimbledon is cautious about taking on new partners. In 2006, Polo Ralph Lauren earned a contract to manufacture line umpires' uniforms. It was the first time the tournament had used an external company in 129 years. Knowing how strict Wimbledon's dress code is, Ralph Lauren studied the historical designs of Wimbledon officials, especially through the 1930s and 1940s, to design the outfits in keeping with the tournament's image. But this image could be at risk of disappearing. A new generation of players and viewers are driving the sport in a different direction, with different demands. Could Wimbledon's iconic aesthetic finally be falling out of fashion? Out of all the American viewers of Wimbledon, about 40% are baby boomers, 26% are Gen X, and millennials lag behind at 24%, with Gen Z at a tiny 4%. Younger viewers are more interested in short-form, highly stimulating content. The Ultimate Tennis Showdown, or UTS, is trying to capture that new market with a new, shorter format with modified rules.
For the game, he told me who is the faster, Nick. Can you answer, please? Who is the faster between him and me?
Yeah, Gail is fast.
Meanwhile, Wimbledon's attendance last year was lower than the year before, partly because of rain. Wimbledon organizers have said that they are conscious not to become complacent, but it will be difficult to attract a new fan base while sticking to its biggest selling point, tradition. Wimbledon is now firmly part of British tradition, and over 200 miles south, a small rural town became an unlikely part of French tradition. It's where human endurance is pushed to its limits, cars fly, and 84 people were killed in the blink of an eye. To find out how the 24 Hours of Le Mans defined automotive engineering and became the most difficult event in motorsport, click the thumbnail on the screen now.